Nosy Neighbors fans, it's Jessica Cardon
and Chad Murdoch
with Murdoch Manwaring Company, a real estate group at Keller Williams Realty East Idaho, and your Nosy Neighbors. Thanks for joining us today. We're not outside.
We're inside. We're in a shop.
We're in a shop. We're actually in a secret location.
Yes.
No, we're not. We're in
Blackfoot, Idaho.
In Blackfoot. Cannot be disclosed.
In Blackfoot.
In Blackfoot, Idaho.
Yeah.
Very similar to right close to the movie mill.
Across the street, we're on Westbridge.
Okay, there it is. Westbridge. All right, there it is.
Street.
We are at Miles Heating
today
because there's some really cool things that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, a staple in Blackfoot.
Absolutely.
Started out in 1941, third generation business. So
it's awesome.
Pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome. Yep. And we're going to talk quite a bit about furnaces and those kind of things because that is an important part of real estate. Mm-hmm. So speaking of real estate, that's what we do. If you love real estate like we do, head over to our Murdoch Manwaring Company page and give us a like and follow. If you like to get the stats of the market and the crazy stuff going on.
If you want to know what your home is worth, if you're thinking about what you need to do to get it ready to sell, if you wonder, how do I buy a home when there's 5 offers? I mean, those are the things that we know how to do.
Yep.
So reach out and we'll help you know what the game plan is.
Yep. Don't let fear of this isn't the time to sell or buy keep you from the fact that this is an awesome time to sell and buy.
It is. It's a great time.
Really great time. Yeah. And if you love local businesses like Miles Heating, like we do, please like and follow the Nosy Neighbors page. Head back over, take a look at everything that we've done. There are some really cool businesses that we visited.
Yep.
Really, really awesome. And we'd love you to frequent those. These are our friends and neighbors, and we'd love you to help them.
The pillars of our communities.
They really, really are. Yep. Awesome. So speaking of that, let's talk to Del Rey.
Yeah. And Jason. And Carter.
And if I say Clark one time, just slap me.
I will.
Just slap me.
I will.
Let's go. We are here at Miles Heating. Dun, 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 dun. Hey, guys. So can we ask some questions about Miles Heating?
Sure.
Fantastic. So tell us who you are.
Well, we're a heating and air conditioning company. In other words, HVAC. Mm-hmm. Like you said, we've been around since 1941. We've been around a long time. I'm a third generation. They always say the third generation is one that destroys the company.
That is right. I wasn't going to mention that, but thank you for mentioning that, Del Rey. We're on a slow slope downward.
I've only tried to destroy it about 3 or 4 times, but it's still thriving, so we're in good shape.
81 years. That's impressive.
That is impressive. That is impressive. So when we talk about HVAC, what does that encompass? If someone doesn't know what HVAC is, what are all the things you do?
HVAC encompasses many things. Heating, air conditioning, ventilation. Those are really the main 3
Gas
areas.
lines, water heaters.
And we do a lot of gas lines.
I wouldn't have guessed water heater.
Yeah.
Tricky. So, let's get to the logistics. Who can call you? Is it anybody? Is it residential? Is it commercial? What do you guys do?
Builders, are they the ones that, if they have an existing furnace, can they still call you? I mean, who's your clientele?
Well, our specialty basically is retrofit. So, basically if
you can't use fancy words around
Yeah, that's a fancy word.
We got to really make it a little...
got to make it... just taking a furnace out of a house and putting a new one in.
That is exactly. Thank you.
Okay.
Now I know what we're doing.
Yeah, but we've done a lot of different things. We've done commercial. We do gas lines. We do water heaters. We do all kinds of stuff. And
existing furnace repair.
Yes, we do that.
And maintenance.
Absolutely.
Okay. We try to do what we can, but sometimes we're willing to go and look at the job, and if it's outside of our means, we try to help. So we try to do what we can.
So here's a resource as much of just coming to install it.
Right.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. What if it's new construction? Do you guys do that?
We don't do a lot. Mm-hmm. If we had more manpower, we'd probably do more new construction in that area. But that's and we pride ourselves in that area. I mean, we know how to do duct calculations. We know how to do.
We can build duct.
Manual J, basically how to do the BTUs correctly and how to do the duct design correctly and everything like that.
Well, look at it. I mean, I don't think many people have these types of machines to build ducts. I mean,
that's pretty amazing.
I mean, that's we are seeing that before. And I mean, that's from the 1930s, right?
Yes, actually. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's amazing.
All right, before we get it, we have a million questions I'm about to ask. I'm ready to go with locked and loaded with 1,000 questions. But if they want to find out more, if they need a repair or they need questions, how do they get in touch with you guys? What are the hours and how does that work?
The best thing to do is call 208-785-0909, and that will go directly to our shop. And then really, Jason is one that does all the scheduling. So he looks at the calendar, makes sure that Carter and I are on track and everything like that. So that's what we really prefer. A lot of times I get phone calls from my cell phone a lot of times, and I get myself in trouble. So
it's easy to get overbooked.
Yeah, I imagine. So I'm going to just put a disclaimer. Do not call Del Rey. You're going to need to call Jason.
Call Jason, 785-0909.
That's right. So on that, let's talk about when they could get in. How far out is a service? What if it's an emergency? How does that work?
It's a case by case. You know, like we try to help what we can. A lot of times we book a couple days out, but we are in a situation where we can branch off. So
gotcha.
Out of heat, we safety is a concern, so we want to make sure we take care of what we can.
What if it's in the middle of the night or Sunday afternoon? Are you there?
We don't have after hours services right
Gotcha.
now,
Okay.
but we if you call us and get our voicemail, we will check back by about 8 o'clock in the morning.
Gotcha.
So
Perfect. Okay, now I have a bunch of questions. You have a question, Chad, before I go in?
Not right now.
All right.
I have others.
I'm ready and locked and loaded. Okay, so we talked about furnace. Now, you said this is mainly if you're going to come and take one out and put one in. How long do furnaces last? When are we expected to do this?
Well, I can answer that.
Perfect.
Okay, well, I think
Talk
really...
about a retrofit.
Yeah.
How long's a retrofit?
Oh, my word. I already felt too
A new
dumb for
word.
this video. When all those words, I didn't understand. It was like dolphin talk.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So
I'll just smile and nod.
I think anywhere between 15 and 20 years. The sad thing about it, though, is when my grandfather put furnaces in, they lasted 40 to 50 years. So there's
So why is that? That's planned, right?
We're not going to go there.
Okay. All right.
Part of the problem is now they're over 90% efficient. Okay, so what they're doing is they're actually condensating. Okay, which actually over time actually has an acidic in the water itself. So over time it actually takes out the furnace. So you get really high efficiencies, but it actually over time it actually lowers the efficiencies, and over time it actually takes out the furnace. And that's one of the things that really causes it to go out. Another thing that really causes it out is make sure that your furnace has filters cleaned, as much as possible. Make sure that the secondary heat exchanger doesn't get plugged up. Those are some of the things that actually takes out the furnace. And so if you can do that, you can prolong your furnace much longer.
And how often is it recommended to change the filter?
That is a very good question. Every filter, in my opinion, is different. Every house is different, sorry. And it also depends on the filter you have. There's some HEPA filters that will go for a full year, and there's some filters that only go for 1 month, basically. And so
is it like the rule of the cheaper the filter, the faster you have to change it?
well, but it's also the environment, because we have a lot of farmers. They're when they're plowing their fields. You could I swear I just changed that thing, and you pull it out, and they've got their air conditioner on, and it's got dust in it.
A field behind them blowing.
Right.
So, okay.
So yeah, that's why you said everything's kind of different, just depending on the area.
Sometimes the cheaper filters are good too.
Right.
So it's not necessarily the cheap filters, and it depends on the filter and the style of filter you have in it. So they have two types. One is called a poly and one is called a pleated. And some of the good polys are just as good as the pleated. But again, a filter can actually sometimes restrict the furnace too much, so you have to be very careful there. And so you have to kind of know what filter is the best for the home.
How do you know?
Well,
and how do you know what to buy? We've already established I don't know anything.
Right. Well, one way to tell, though, is that if you hear whistling in the furnace, that could be actually too small a duct, or it could be the filter actually restricting. We had an instance...
Which means, does that mean like the filter is too thick and the air doesn't go through, or is that what you mean?
It's too plugged up.
Oh, it needs to be changed.
Yep. Right.
Gotcha.
And I've actually seen some filters that actually are brand new that's actually put in, and they actually been restricting too much. We've got service calls, and actually had to take the filter out, and then it ran just fine. So
you want the filter to be in there, but you don't want the filter to be like clung. You know what I mean? So if it's clinging, you're probably got a filter that's a little too thick.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha. So thick.
Like the
So they come in different thicknesses?
They can.
Yep.
They can go 1 inch, 3 inch, 5 inch, 7 inch, depending on what you want to do.
Mine is huge. It's like 5 inches.
Wow.
There you go.
That's what I did on mine. I did 5 inches, and it's about every 3 months, 3 to 6 months, to be honest, depending on
5 inches thick.
The filter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now wait a minute. If I'm thinking about mine, so the space. I thought it just kind of went in there, so you can. Okay.
Well, it just depends on what you have
in
there. It depends on what you bought.
It's
basically
made for a filter that big.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. That makes sense. So in this, what if there's someone who is like me and we don't know any of this stuff? First-time home buyers, those kind of things. What do they do? Do they have to call and have you service it to get information? How can someone, if they don't know what to do and when they want to make good decisions, how do they get information on that?
Well, I think one thing to do is you can call us and ask us questions. We don't mind that at all. I've been on the phone 10 to 15 minutes today, actually 20 minutes with a customer that had a lot of questions. I don't mind questions at all. You know, if you have something that you really are concerned about, let's educate you. Let's get that out. That's so much better than trying to sell.
So I have another question. As you know, we're in real estate.
Right.
Okay, so let's say you're buying a house. What should you do to that that furnace? What should be checked out to know that it's in a good shape? Just have someone go? What should they be watching for? Is age the only thing that would be an indicator?
Well, I think one of the things is that when we come and we inspect the furnace, there's a lot of things we inspect. You know, one thing that we do is we open up the furnace and we actually look in where the blower is, and we can actually look and see, you know, how dirty the blower is, how dirty is that heat exchanger that's in there, and those are some things that we need to look at.
The size of the duct.
Yeah.
Because, you know, sometimes, you know, like, you know, you put a furnace in and, you know, everybody's always on that fine edge because it's, you know, it's a little bit math, you know, so it could, you know, we want to make sure it's the right size for the right, you know, volume of air, you know, and especially when people are doing like add-ons, you know what I mean? I've got heat here, but I don't have heat over here, you know what I mean? So it's just something, it sounds corny to say we have to check it, but it makes it easier, you know, so we can go over it all.
Makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense. So what if can there be a wrong furnace then in a house?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Same thing with AC.
So a lot of times we've actually seen is most of the time people actually have too large a furnace in their house.
Yeah.
And so what happens there basically is the furnace kicks on and kicks off.
Yeah.
Kicks on and kicks off. And that actually makes your furnace don't last as long. We actually want a furnace to actually kick on, turn on, and just keep on running for about 10 or 15 minutes and then kick off. And you're so much further ahead when you do that.
It's like a warm start instead of a hot cold.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Hot cold, yeah.
Interesting. How did you guys get started that you know all of this? I mean, you're third generation, but how did you guys get into all of this?
Learning from the best.
When did you start?
I was about 3 years ago.
And I'm just a little over a year ago, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
I used to be a manager at Verizon, and I told him I wanted to get my hands dirty. He said, come to work.
And I said, you'll get a pay cut then.
Right.
So speaking of that, if somebody wanted to get into this, how does that work?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that.
There's an opportunity right now.
There
is an
To new construction. I mean, there's a shortage, a big time of.
And we have a lot of people moving to the area.
Right. The thing is, though, we're kind of a special company in that, well, I don't want to say special, we're unique, you know.
Right.
And
we
that
can be
is,
special.
we can be special.
Yeah.
Third generation special.
Yeah.
It is special.
One thing we really pride ourselves is we really like to teach and educate, okay? So Carter, you know, you started working for me. You really didn't know anything about heating. Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. And then Jason, you didn't know anything at all.
Even the do-it-yourself stuff I knew got better. You know, yeah, it really did.
And so my thought process, I would rather train someone that doesn't even know the industry, okay, and teach them and go through almost like a college course, but it's hands-on every day, and we teach every day. Now we make mistakes when we're working and everything like that, but that's part of the learning curve as doing things. So don't be afraid to get your hands dirty, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. We don't mind that at all, as long as you don't get us in too much trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything's fixable, right?
That's a good question.
For a fee.
Well, that's awesome. So are you guys looking for people now to get into it?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Absolutely. We are so busy right now. How far out do you guys think we are right now?
2 weeks.
I was thinking further
More
than
than
that. I think we're about 4 to 5 weeks out
Wow.
right now. So,
Yeah, you could use the help.
and this is our slow time basically.
Well, and ironically, if we had more people, we'd probably be further out. You know what I mean? So that's why, you know, we're at a stage,
more people,
you know,
more business.
every year he's like, this is our slow time. And it was this year that we're like, all right, we're going to need more people.
So this makes me think of sometimes people when they're coming out of high school,
right?
And they say, I don't really know what I want to do. I don't want to go to college. I mean, these are the kinds of
I'm not
things
ready to go to college yet. Yeah.
Get in it and start to learn. Right. Some people are just learn better with their hands and want to get in a job. They get there.
That's how I was. That's how I got into it. Just graduated from high school, and I knew Del Rey from Scouts actually.
Yeah.
So I actually gave him a call and was like, hey, want to work with my hands? Let's
Get to work.
Let's do it.
Love
If
that.
you want looking for a kid, let me know.
Yeah. It's a great career.
Yeah.
It's a great career.
You know, yeah, it is. And the thing is, though, is that there's so many areas you can go into. Okay, there's the commercial, there's all, you know, low voltage. There's all kinds of things.
Drafting, design.
Drafting,
Oh, yeah,
design,
you can-
computer,
yeah.
whatever on that. But the thing is though, is that, you know, if you're interested in doing that, you know, come and talk to me. We'll look and see what your aptitude is and see if you actually fit that. We'll be honest if you don't as well. But yeah, we are most definitely like to talk to
good.
people and do that.
That's very cool. So I have some other follow-up questions. So in this, we talked about furnaces, and when you said, but also air conditioning units.
Yeah, for size.
So so we look at all of that. Is that the same unit?
No.
It's different, right? And is it ever come in the same unit?
In
Some cases, yes, it does, but not all cases. Most furnaces we get an A coil is what it's called, and you place it on top, and all you're doing is just turning your blower on in your furnace, and it's just blowing air up through that A coil, and then you have a condenser outside. We also install with it.
So interesting.
on the one unit, that's usually more like commercial, where they do the heater and the AC all in one. A lot of the times the house will have a furnace and a coil and then a
That would be
condenser
more like a
outside.
rooftop.
Yeah,
on
rooftop.
top.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what I was thinking.
interesting. So we look at this. What if you don't have ductwork? We have a lot of houses in this area that don't have ductwork.
Well, most homes built in the 80s, you know, when electricity was so cheap, they just went electric and there's no ductwork. But now they want AC.
Why don't you guys follow us and we'll show some of the equipment.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's do
And
it.
that way you can actually kind of see, you know, the differences and everything like that. Okay, so you were asking about different types of equipment, okay?
Yeah.
So, Carter, you want to explain some of this, or?
Yeah, let me get over here with the mic for Carter.
Okay, we'll go through this a little bit. So this is what we call a mini split, which is actually going on with your question about the ductless. We can also do a mini split, which is it just kind of hangs on the wall or it gets put into the ceiling, and it's kind of like a mini furnace almost and a mini AC.
The best part about it is a lot of them can do both. You know,
Yeah.
they'll heat during the winter and they'll cool during the summer. It works like a heat pump. So during the summer though, the best part about the Lennox is they are rated for low temperatures. You know, Idaho.
They'll go
where
down
it
to
changes,
negative 22 degrees.
Yeah.
Wow.
So around Idaho, they seem to be pretty popular right now.
With
So-
these crazy weather swings, they work really great. When it gets cold, you have a heater, but you know the next day, like it's been the last few days, it's warm. You can
Next day,
kick your AC on.
we're talking that afternoon. Cold in the morning.
Cold in the morning.
Yeah.
Turn the heater on in the morning, the
Yeah.
AC in the winter.
We only have 2 seasons in Idaho, and that's summer and winter, but spring and
That's
fall's out of there.
That's right.
But the thing that really works good with this, though, is that a lot of people do not have duct in their house.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have like ceiling heat or cadets or things like that, this is so versatile that we can do so many variations of this that we can actually fill those needs that people have.
So an older home,
Absolutely.
this can get installed. Does it replace the furnace they have, or do they keep their furnace?
Well, if they don't have a furnace, they just have like electric heat, then this is a very
Oh,
good
yes,
thing
because
for
there's no furnace.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, but another thing too is that in some of those cases they can still use the electric heat. I mean, as a backup. You know, what I mean, you use this, and maybe it's really really cold outside, and you need a little extra heat. So it cut. You're paying for the equipment up front, but you're getting a little bit of cost break on the electrical side.
So what if they have ceiling cable heat?
Yep.
This is still it.
Yes.
That's kind of like the popular one is the ceiling heat.
Gotcha.
So this goes outside on a pad, if I've
It
seen
does.
it right.
It does.
And then you have different types of circular type ducting
So
that kind of goes
it could
through, right?
it could be wall mounted,
That's like they can be mounted on the side of the house,
or it can
pad.
actually be a duct that we can actually install with it,
Yeah.
or it can actually go in the ceiling. So there's a whole bunch of
Yeah.
variations that you can go with it. And yeah, the technology is absolutely phenomenal.
All right, now I'm going to ask, how much is that bad boy's going to cost?
And how big of a place does that cover?
That is an open question.
I think it depends more on what you're looking for and size of your
The
house.
customer needs, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
the needs, the sizing. So it's best to give us a call and we can always come by and give you a quote.
Right.
If they're ballparking, if you're saying if you don't have air conditioning and you've got ceiling cable heat and you're on the west side,
Okay.
what would they be just generalized thinking about so they don't have, I mean, is it ranging from anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000?
It'd be a lot more than that,
Gotcha.
actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I gave it kind of a number with this equipment, depends on what's going on. 6,000, even up to 25,000.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
That
it's
just gives
basically
people an idea.
a new furnace and AC together.
Right,
That's why it's
right.
more expensive.
But they're
And-
very, very efficient.
and eliminating the possibility you don't have to duct through it.
Right.
It's a
Right,
more
right.
efficient way.
Yeah, and now you're
Well,
not
and it's
using
funny 'cause-
electricity to heat your house.
Well, and ironically, if you didn't have it, the cost to run duct and then a furnace and AC, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
I mean, they're switching places, but this makes it a little more,
Yeah.
Very
little,
cool.
little quicker.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Because that is something, for a long time, air conditioning was not a thing in Idaho. Right?
That is
so there's
true.
a lot of houses that isn't happening. You know, you think of the numbered streets and you think of these homes, you know, downtown Blackfoot and they're, you know.
Well, yeah, I'd say 40 years ago, not many people
No,
even
not
thought
at
about
all.
AC.
Yeah.
Now,
No.
most people want AC in new houses
The-
and existing.
The real funny thing about AC though is that when someone their AC doesn't work, they're more irritated. It's the funniest thing ever because you would think that the furnace, you know, when
Yeah.
they're out of heat,
but-
then they're
The thing
saying,
that could kill them.
yeah.
You
So
you die of cold weather.
So I still don't understand that, but I think because an AC is more of a luxury, and when it's really hot and you're tired and everything like that, so it's kind of interesting how.
Well,
that
I say it like this. I can always put more clothes on, but believe me, you don't want me taking more off.
works. We're not going to go
So-
there. We're not going to go there.
Just might be why others around me are irritated. So this is what is this called?
Mini split.
Mini
A
split.
mini split. And then we work on to what do we got up here?
So this is a.
And I'm noticing it's all Lennox. Are you guys a Lennox? Do you service Lennox?
Yep.
We'll
Okay.
service anything.
Service anything.
We can service anything, but we are a Lennox dealer.
So
Got
here's
it.
a question. Being in business for 81 years, you would think that a lot of people switch carriers very often. How long have you been with Lennox?
Ever since 1941,
The whole time.
the whole time.
That says a lot about Lennox. So,
You know, we're only as good as the company that backs
Equipment
us.
that we install, yeah.
So Lennox, you know, they're very good in technical and keeping us out of trouble, and so we stick with them.
Love it.
The nice part that I like is warranty. Like if you have an issue, it's very easy to go on and submit a request, and usually we help out with that too.
Most new Lennoxes come with like a 10-year warranty on.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's
Yeah.
super nice. It's probably one of the better ones out there that I
So
can think of.
you were about to show us. I'm assuming this is a furnace.
So this is a furnace AC setup.
Uh-huh.
So this bottom part's your furnace. It's got your blower, your heat exchanger. This one's actually a gas furnace, so it runs off natural gas and that. So, and then that little box up here on top, that is actually the AC unit. So we can actually put those on. Like if you say you had the furnace in, we could always put just the AC. That's called the A coil,
A-coil.
and you can put that on top, and then we'll run a line set.
As long as you have a furnace,
Yeah.
forced air furnace.
yeah,
That
a
works.
forced air
Got it.
furnace. Yep. So we could always put the AC on top.
Well, and
And-
new houses, when they talk about AC ready, they might not put the AC in, but they usually recommend furnace and A-coil
They have
just to
A-coil
take some of the work
pre-prepared.
out, to where you can put that in later.
Got it.
One thing that we're experiencing right now is refrigeration. If you have an old unit that has like R22, I know that doesn't mean anything to everyone,
Right.
but that's what's called R22. They've actually basically outlawed it. So,
Yeah,
so
they're grandfathered in, so if you have it, they're not making them change, but they're making it harder to get to keep up with it, to maintain it.
and the biggest problem we have is if your unit is like low on refrigeration, it becomes very, very expensive to put R22 in. And so those are some of the problems that we're facing right now. So the new refrigeration is R410A, and I think they're actually coming out with another new refrigeration in the next 2 or 3 years from now. So, there's some interesting things happening in the refrigeration field right now.
Interesting. So if we're looking at this, how long is this expected to last? So this is the newest, super hootiest, right? How long will this last? If you change your filters the way you're supposed to.
I think you're around 20 years.
Gotcha.
I would say 15 years,
No
without
problem.
question, yeah. I don't see why
and
not.
that's assuming maintenance done on it is filters, and then what else are you supposed to do to keep a furnace up and going?
I think the number one thing, is it's not bad to have us come in once a year, basically, and to promote that, to be able to look at your furnace, see what needs to be done with it, and fix the things. We can look at the burner, we can look at a lot of different parameters and make sure everything's actually working correctly.
At the end of the summer, the A-coil can get plugged up.
Yeah.
Because
okay.
you're using it all summer. So, usually when we're talking about doing one call a year, at the end of the summer, just before the heat and just at the end of the summer. So
And we could also do a spring kind of spring warm up ready, getting ready. We can
come in after the winter.
We can get your condenser cleaned out, washed out, ready to go. Clean your A coil. Make sure everything's ready to go for that hot weather on your AC side of things too.
So you guys said you're about 4 weeks out. So if they want to do that for the end of the summer, they could come in and get on the schedule now?
Yep. Yeah,
absolutely. They want AC, they should be calling now.
Oh, that's right. That's now. Before.
Yeah.
Got it.
Another issue that we're working on right now is that it's hard to get some equipment right now because of what's happening in our country.
Everywhere, yeah.
Everywhere. So, you might call us and say, hey, I'm ready to put this in right now. And we say, sure, we're glad to do that. And then we look it up when we go, it'll be 2 or 3 weeks before we can get the equipment. So that's another interesting thing that we're having issues with right now.
So think ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Think ahead and make sure you're covered.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, inflation. We did our numbers, and I think we're just on equipment. How much? It wasn't like 27% higher compared to a year and a half ago.
Wow.
And so that's kind of crazy right now.
Yeah.
So
that's massive
keeping
for
up
any
with home
industry.
prices.
Yeah, just sounds about like home prices.
Right.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You
That's
guys, what did we
awesome.
miss?
But
I think we should still go back to the filter if you're okay
Let's
with
talk
that.
about it.
So I want to. This
is way bigger than my filter.
Let's get
Am
the
I
other
doing
one.
this wrong?
no, it's just a different type of furnace.
Yeah, it's just different.
Gotcha.
So in a filter, they actually have what is called a MERV rating. It's right here. This is 11. Okay. So the higher the MERV rating, the more it will actually pick up on particulates and stuff like that. The disadvantage of it, as the higher the MERV rating, the more money the filter is. Okay. So it depends on your allergies and the problems you have. And you can actually, this is can spend $25 to $150 on a filter. So you have to kind of know where you want to be at.
Gotcha.
You do want a decent filter because, like we work with a lot of people that have pets. And no matter how much you clean up, you would not believe how much gets into the venting system. So, you want a decent one, but keep up on it. That's this.
Gotcha.
It really is the secret.
And does each filter tell you how long it should be in there, or do you just have to check to see when it's time?
It's probably not a bad idea to check every once in a while, but there's definitely a time. With those bigger filters, it's probably 3 to 6 months.
A really good reminder is when you get your power bill or your gas bill, just when you get that, just say, oh, I got to check my filter as well. So that's kind of a reminder that you could do.
Yeah, I'd hate for the filter to say it goes 6 months, and then you put it off, and then find out it should have been changed last month, or so it's
And then you
just
find
better
out
to
it was
check
a
it.
year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That makes sense.
But the thing is, though, is as a homeowner, you can actually take the filter out and just look at it and see how dirty it is. Okay, and so if it looks clean and everything, just put it back in and let it run for a while, and then the next month take it out again, see how dirty it is. And then as it gets dirty enough, then you can go, oh, maybe 2 or 3 months I need to change my filter.
And a good test to test your filter is pull it out and hold it up to the light. If you can see light coming through it, it's not plugged.
Yeah.
So that's a good way
it's
to
a good
kinda,
indicator that you're still okay.
You're still okay but if you can't see a lot of light through it, you probably should change it.
The other thing to look at is if you go, say, I haven't changed my filter for a year, okay, and you pull the filter out and it's still looking clean, then we need to come and look and see why that is. Okay.
You don't just cheer and go, yes, another year, throw it back in.
No one cleans their house that good.
Yeah.
So you guys, anything that we missed that we need to cover, if they're going to call you guys, is there anything else they would call you for?
We do, one thing that we talked about is heat pump or mini splits, but we also do heat pumps. It's a dual source, so dual fuel. Yeah. So a lot of people out here have electric heat, especially rural, or they have propane, and we can that gives them the option to be able to use that as another source of heat and kind of split cost.
One thing I like about dual fuel is basically dual fuel means that you have 2 different types of heat coming out. The heat pump is electric, and then I like to put it on propane if you're out in the country. We've actually done it on natural gas too, but it has some great advantages and that is the heat pump will run really efficient in the springtime and in the fall time. So you get really good efficiencies and savings from that point of view. When it's on propane or natural gas, basically, then when it goes in the second stage, because the heat pump can't keep up, then you have really good heat coming out of your furnace. and it makes it nice and comfortable. So there is some really great advantages, but there's always gotchas in everything you do. So before you go that way, make sure you talk to me and we can
before
talk
you jump
about
right on board. This is one of there's
so
just options
you need
there.
to know the pros and cons of that to do that.
Perfect. Awesome. Love it. Sounds like what they really just need to do is call you guys.
Yeah, that'll be
Give
great.
you a call and say, hey, what can we do? This is our
How
situation.
big's your coverage area? You're in Blackfoot.
We try and stay in Blackfoot a lot because we have so many people that we do, but it's about 70 miles probably.
Okay.
We're doing a job all the way up to Du Bois, Idaho.
Oh, wow, jeez.
Probably in the next couple of weeks to do that, but we kind of try to stay right here.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
to
as
take
we
care
get
of the
farther
local
out,
place.
until we get more employees,
more people.
So
Yeah,
makes it a little tougher to go as far as fast.
that's right.
Yeah.
We just need some more people.
Right.
Just
That's what
need
we
more
need.
people.
That's what we need.
That's awesome. Well, you guys, thanks
Cool.
for this
Yeah,
tour.
thank you.
Amazing. I learned a lot that I did not know. So thank you for that education. Really, really cool. So give us one more time the phone number that you would give us to if somebody wanted to call and find out more.
Phone number is 208-785-0909. Or you can email us at milesheatandair, all spelled out, at gmail.com.
Perfect. All right, you'll probably find a link
And if
below.
you can't get a hold of us, text us. Sometimes we miss calls because we go all the time 100 miles an hour. Okay, don't give up on us.
Or we're in a crawl space.
Yeah.
Sometimes the phone doesn't always work everywhere we go. So
So the phone number you gave, can they text that
yes,
number?
yes,
Absolutely.
There you go.
And you can even take pictures. You can put it on, if you have a question, send a picture and we'll
very
look
cool.
at it and see what's going on.
Phone diagnosis.
We can do that.
Really
Nice.
cool.
Cool.
Teleheating. Thanks, you guys.
thank
That's the
you,
only one I
guys.
got. That's the only joke. Thank you
Love it.
and good night. All right, thanks, you guys. We got Del Rey, Jason.
Carter.
I'm going to call him Clark, but his name's Carter. All right, give him a call. Really cool. Miles Heating here in Blackfoot. Great local business, third generation, and they'll really take care of you. All right, this has been Jessica Cardon
And Chad Murdoch.
with the Murdoch Marine Company, your nosy neighbors, keeping you
In the know.
The Nosy Neighbors, keeping you in the know.
The Nosy Neighbors, keeping you in the know.
Nosy Neighbors, keeping you in the know.
The Nosy Neighbors, keeping you in the know.
Nosy Neighbors, keeping you in the know.
So the Nosy Neighbors keeping you in the know.
The Nosy Neighbors are going to keep you in the know.